Now we're turning our attention to an organisation making a real difference here in our community. Wycombe Homeless Connection provides vital support for people facing homelessness and housing crisis in our area. Joining me today is Sarah, who works with the charity, to tell us more about the work they do and why it matters. Sarah, welcome to the show. What first inspired you to get involved with Wycombe Homeless Connection?
There is actually a bit of a story behind that, obviously. I volunteered at the winter night shelter this year, and it was something I'd always wanted to do, but I'd always missed the deadline.
Oh.
You know, when you don't think about something until, you know, it's cold, it's Christmas, or it's January, and I'd be like, oh, I wanted to do that. And then, of course, by then, all the charities have done their training, and the rotas are full. And last year, I just happened to catch it at the right time. And, you know, when you look at the diary and you're like, I've got time, I can make this happen. And so I volunteered, started January this year. We did it for 3 months, and I just really loved being part of the team. There was just something about it that really filled me with joy. And after it finished, I just happened to be on their website, and there was a job advertised.
How?
And here I am.
Perfect. I love that, because I think it's always great when you volunteer somewhere, because you get a feel for that charity, that company, that organisation, and you know whether you'll be a good fit. So that's,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm always praising volunteer opportunities because I think it's brilliant. So you've been there for a bit now. You've been there for a good few months. So can you tell us a bit more about the Wycombe Homeless Connection charity, what they do and the kind of support they provide locally?
Absolutely. So all year round, we do two main things. We help those who are street homeless and they don't have any other options. And obviously, our goal is to get them rehoused into a safe space so that they can move forward with their lives. And then the other thing we do is homelessness prevention. So this is people who are still in their houses, but they are at risk at losing it. They're at risk of eviction. Maybe they're struggling to pay their rent and their bills. And they're getting those, you know, the warning shots from their landlords. And if they come to us soon enough, we can help with that. We have an amazing support centre team. Our support centre is open Monday to Friday, 10 till 12:30. And we can liaise with the council, we can liaise with other charities in the area. But obviously, as you can imagine, if people come to us early enough, it is more cost effective for us to keep them in the house that they are already in, keep them in their home, than it is for it to get too far and then we have to help them start from scratch.
It's so important, isn't it? Sadly, we do see people homeless on the street. Mm-hmm. Have you got any figures for us? What is it like in Wycombe at the moment and those kind of areas?
I don't have any numbers for this precise moment, but what I do know is before COVID, in the whole of Buckinghamshire, the highest number of homeless that we had was 33. Since COVID, just in South Buckinghamshire, the numbers hit 40.
Oh my goodness.
And that's a huge difference. And people are struggling, and it's okay to admit that you're struggling, and that's why our support centre is there. You don't need an appointment, you just turn up and someone will talk to you.
So the support centre, is that in your offices in High Wycombe?
It is. We're on Castle Street.
Okay.
So nice and close to the town centre for people to get to us.
Yeah.
And between 10 and 12:30, the door is open.
So they can come in, they can speak openly about any issues they're facing. I mean, what happens if they don't have access to the internet? Everything now is so digital. Can you help them with the internet as well, filling out forms?
We help them with filling out forms. We will hold their hands to help them get the support that they need. And another thing that we do is we don't give up.
Oh, that's lovely.
You know, for various reasons, maybe a client can't take advantage of the opportunities that are maybe opened up to them at that precise moment. We will work for them for as long as we need to make sure they get to where they want to be.
What a brilliant charity. And what areas do you cover?
So we cover South Buckinghamshire, and then from Aylesbury upwards, they have their own charities that do that.
Okay. And how long has the charity been around? When was it first established?
So the first ever winter night shelter took place in 2008, and then in 2009 we officially became a registered charity.
Okay. And if they are in temporary accommodation, because I know a lot of people, when they have been homeless, they go into temporary accommodation. Do you then hold their hand and help them to get permanent accommodation as well?
Where we're needed to, yes.
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 Brilliant.
So obviously we work very closely with the council. We work very closely with other non-profits and charities in the area. So we just make sure that they get to where they need to be.
Yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes people just need to be listened, heard, given support and told what's out there for them, because sometimes they just don't know. I know when we first met at Holmer Green Music on the Common, I bumped into you and I was blown away by the charity. I kind of knew of the charity, but when you started talking to me and we did a live back to the studio, I was just amazed about the work that the charity did, and that's why I had to get you into the studio to tell us more.
I'm amazed by the work they do. That's why I'm here.
That was Sarah from Wycombe Homeless Connection giving us an insight into those challenges and the support that people need when they are facing homelessness. Stay with us, because after the break and some music, we'll be finding out how you can get involved, from volunteering to supporting the Night Shelter 2026. I'm still here with Sarah from Wycombe Homeless Connection, and now we're focusing on how you, our listeners, can play a part in supporting their vital work. So Sarah, for listeners who want to get involved, what opportunities are there to volunteer with Wycombe Homeless Connection?
Well, the big one that is coming up is we are looking for volunteers for our winter night shelter. The drive for volunteer sign-ups opens next week, and the night shelter runs from January to the end of March, and 7 churches kindly host us, one every night of the week for 3 months. And this is open to people who are living on the streets in South Buckinghamshire and have no other options. And they come in and they get a warm welcome, a homemade meal, opportunity for showers, doing their laundry, and just sitting and chatting, playing games, and getting a good night's sleep somewhere that's warm and keeping them inside on the coldest months of the year.
I cannot imagine what that must feel like. I had no idea that the churches were involved, and I think that's a wonderful use of space, isn't it? That
absolutely
they use that. So what time does the night shelter open for people that are going to go and use the night shelter?
From when it opens every evening, volunteers turn up at 6 to set up, and then guests normally come in from 7:30. And those guests are registered with us, so we know who is coming in.
Yeah.
So everybody is prepared. Obviously, safeguarding is in place. We train the volunteers so they know exactly what to expect and what they're to do. Everybody has their roles to play so that we can all come together as a team to provide the best, safe, warm, welcoming space that we can.
So you said night shelter opens up for volunteers. When you say open up, is that on the website?
So it will be on the website. We'll be sending out emails to our existing database next week. You'll be seeing it on social media. Obviously, I might pop up in some other places talking about it, and other members of our team. But we need 300 volunteers to make this work. Because, as you can imagine, for 3 months, there are 3 shifts just in one night.
Yes.
And we need a lot of volunteers over that night to make it happen.
So I said to you when I bumped into you, first of all, I really want to get involved with this.
Yes.
So what's the commitment? So if someone does want to volunteer and they're thinking, I don't know if I have time. So if I submit online, what's the process of being trained to be a volunteer for the night shelter?
So training opens mid-October. So you'll be asked to attend a 3-hour training of some different dates that we will have available, and some of those are weekday evenings. We'll have some on Saturdays, so there are choices of them to have. And then the actual night shelter going into it, we have 3 shifts in a night.
Okay.
So we have an evening shift that runs 6 till 10.
Yeah.
And then we have the night shift that runs 10 till 7. And that's to make sure that everybody gets a good night's sleep and that everybody feels safe. So 2 volunteers stay awake, 2 volunteers sleep, and they take it in turns and do it on a rota. And then you get the morning shift come in to give breakfast, clear up. The guests go off and do whatever they're going to do for the day, and we clear the venue down. And then it all starts again at 6 o'clock that evening at the next church.
I'm blown away. This is just Yes, I'm lost for words, actually, Sarah. It's so amazing, and I am definitely going to volunteer. So, obviously, this is a huge impact on someone that uses the night shelter. You've obviously got to meet some of the people that have used the night shelter. Any success stories? What can you tell me? How does it impact their life?
Oh, so let me tell you about Daniel from last year. Daniel moved to Wycombe full of excitement because he was starting a new job. Sadly, the start of his job kept getting delayed, which obviously meant that he burnt through his financial resources very, very quickly. And before he knew it, he couldn't afford his rent anymore on the flat that he'd got. And he actually was looking at sleeping on the streets. He was really proactive, though. He went to the council. Sadly, because he'd moved here from another county very recently, he wasn't eligible for any help. So he went to the job centre, and the job centre sent him to us, to our support centre. And actually, he came straight round to see us, and that night, he was in the night shelter. So he talked to our support workers, they listened to him as to what he wanted to do, you know, how he saw his life turning out. And the best solution that came out of it was he decided to return to where he'd originally lived, because there he was eligible for universal credit. So he stayed with us while he could. We then made arrangements with their council. We linked him up with another night shelter, paid for him to go back to that county, and he stayed in their night shelter until his accommodation that had been found for him became free. He's now studying, he's got a job, and that's what we're there to do. We're there to catch people when they need it.
So it clearly works. What an amazing story. I absolutely love that. Everyone communicating together, different counties, different sectors, and it just works. So if people don't have time to volunteer at the night shelter, what other ways can they support the charity? Do you have any admin roles?
There's lots of different ways to volunteer and just help in general. So if you see any of our social media posts talking about the night shelter, please share them. Get them out to other people. If you don't have time, that's fine. Maybe one of your friends or your family do. So it's about helping us spread the word. I run the event side of things. We have an events team of volunteers that are really good. Potentially business admin volunteers in our offices behind the scenes. You can donate goods and you can donate money to us. And all of that helps us to do what we do.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it. Fundraising is so important for your charity to thrive and survive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great charity, one that's very close to my heart, and I am definitely going to volunteer. Sarah, thank you again for joining us and for all the incredible work Wycombe Homeless Connection does. If you'd like to volunteer, support the night shelter, or find out more, you can head to their website, Wycombe Homeless Connection, and every bit of help really does make a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.